Today I beat this National Master with really one move, it looks like, but actually what I beat them with was really, really good structure, classical structure that I've got from studying chess years ago. Here's into the game now. It's simple e4, and the English opening, actually, the defense is c5. I didn't even realize that. I used to play that all the time, actually. And this creates a nice sort of pair of diagonals. I get the diagonal, they get the opposite diagonal. I haven't actually done it. There it is. So you get this nice sort of board that's sort of knight's move shaped, each half of the board. Now I've got to be careful of this bishop. I don't want it to get hemmed in. So this is all okay, but we may have to just create that something there for it to slip back. And I don't need to take that, but there's no point in taking that pawn now because he will just capture it. It's better if I were to get rid of that knight first. But now he just puts another bishop onto it. So you see, he's a good structuralist as well. This is a good structuralist. Now I castle. And black castles. That is the end of the opening. Just take a look at that setup. This is what you get when you play National Masters. You get chess that looks like nothing you've ever played before. They play strange chess. There's more things they can do. There's much more breadth to their chess. Not always, actually. I played a National Master earlier today who seemed to have an incredibly narrow type of chess, but they basically had mastered a system. So now I've got to get this knight so it doesn't get taken. So it's all over the place. Look at that dreadful position for that knight, but it was the only way to get it to escape from being taken. I'm trying to put pressure on and keep strategy going against black here. Again, why waste a move taking it? Better to defend it. He does the same. See, this is what happens when you get to higher levels of chess. Fewer pieces taken, more of this kind of situation. So what do we do next? We don't really want his queen coming onto my side of the board. We've already got a pawn there. So I'll come back to here, because the idea here is that if he takes that bishop, I'll recapture with my pawn that's just to the left and up from the king. That's going to give my rook a nice channel. And he knows that. That's why he didn't take it. Okay, so now, get rid of this knight. This is one of Fischer's rules. If a piece comes onto your half of the board, trade it rather than leaving it there. So that was correct. I couldn't decide whether to take with the bishop or the queen. I really couldn't, but I thought better to have them on opposite colours, I think. Because who knows what's going to happen to my other bishop. It's probably going to go. I realised I could rescue this knight. I don't know if it was a good idea or not. I felt that it might make him want to weaken his pawn structure to try and chase the knight away, and that can be good. It can be good to make your opponent weaken their pawn structure around their king. But he knows that as well, you see. This is what happens when you play against a master. They know these things. They know everything you know, okay? So now, bringing this bishop back in, making it active again, activating the bishop. Again, very important. Get as many pieces active as possible. Incidentally, I'll just go back a move, and I'll just point out that if I were to move that 2 spaces, that cannot be taken en passant by the bishop. Only a pawn can take en passant. So that's actually quite an interesting option as well. But I didn't do it. So now, rook comes over to grab this channel. Now it's time to transfer and recapture with the rook, because you want our rooks to be paired. Very, very important as you get towards the endgame that rooks are paired, otherwise they're very weak and they can easily get forked by queens in checks and things. So you've got to keep your rooks on the same rank or on the same file. And then we get this weird move. This is the kind of move, I've seen it over and over again in chess. What this funny pawn move over on the queen side there tells me is that he has run out of ideas. That's what it says. This is the kind of move I've seen so many times in chess that tells me my opponent has run out of ideas, because this is nothing to do with what they were doing before. Nothing. So I take that as a sign that maybe now is the time to really attack. So I attack his bishop, and I fully expected him to try and just take there, but obviously if he takes, it's not that great for him because I can recapture with the knight. All my structure's good. What does he do though? He tries to chase the knight away. This is pure bullying. Not only do I have a potential check over here, which admittedly it's not that great, but it's still a potential check. I know that wasn't the right move to make because my next move was this, and that is a free piece. I basically won a free piece there, and I'm attacking his rook. Suffice it to say that here is where this national master threw in the towel and resigned. As I said, one move won the game. Well, it was kind of that move that won the game, but it wasn't really that move that won the game. What won the game was that pawn move of his. That told me that he had lost the plot. That told me he had no strategy at the moment. I usually have a strategy. When you get to high levels of chess, you have to have a strategy. No, you can't just learn tactics. Really good tactics will help you to win at chess. Of course, tactics are very, very useful, but you also have to have the strategy, which is the bigger picture. It's the idea of the grand scheme that the tactics help to build, or they might go wrong and you have to come up with a new strategy, and sometimes you do have to have more than one strategy in your pocket. And this national master obviously respects my play enough to resign at this point, and I take that as a great compliment to my chess, because it means they really do believe that I've got the goods, and that's very nice coming from a national master. So don't worry if they resign. Don't feel bad about it that you didn't get the chance to checkmate them. Resigning in this earlier position is really wonderful flattery for your game, and it's what helps to build your confidence. Confidence is very important in chess. So I hope you've enjoyed that game. If you have, do like and subscribe, and come back and see me again if you really want to enjoy the most relaxing chess channel on YouTube. See you soon.